Well, here we are. It's time for cricket action, and there is so much significance to the start of this three ODI series, followed by three T20 internationals. You can take your pick. The focus on Rohit Sharma as captain, India playing a landmark 1000th ODI, the IPL auctions coming up, and everyone wants to play for a spot in a franchise, and of course, the West Indies looking to secure their place in the Super League standings with a good result. It's not insignificant at all. Let's quickly welcome our panel on Cricbuzz Live here. Joining me, Shaun Pollock and Dinesh Karthik. Good morning / good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey, Gautam.
DK, as I said at the very top, there are times when we look particularly at ODI series and go, well, this doesn't quite have the significance maybe it did in the past. But here, for various factors, there's plenty of talking points.
Oh, most definitely. I think this is going to be a very interesting show for a start because Shaun Pollock is there, and then there are other reasons as well. There are things like West Indies have a lot to look forward to. India obviously, want to make amends for the series loss after South Africa. So there's so much to speak about.
Come on, Shaun, you can respond to that. As you said before the start of the show, after your 3-0 victory over India, not too many people actually acknowledged that to you personally.
Yeah, I was waiting for a message from DK because, there was a lot of sledging going on from him in the test series. And then we managed to win that and the one-day series. But he kept very quiet. And, I just had to confront him and just make sure. But I'm looking for an improved performance, aren't we, from India? I think there's a lot of areas that have been disappointed with how they went in South Africa, particularly the spin department. I think they'll be looking to really control terms here against the West Indies. And, from the West Indies perspective, you talk about the IPL auction. They love to be involved, don't they? But also the key is, the World Cup, the next World Cup. Where does it happen? It's in this country. So it's a real opportunity to try and set up a 15-player squad that's going to be competitive in a year's time.
Yeah, and also to add to what Shaun Pollock said is they need to make sure that they sort of get a direct entry into that 2023 World Cup. They don't want to be playing the qualifiers again. It's a slippery slope. They nearly missed out the last time around for the 2019 World Cup. But let's quickly update you in terms of toss news. Two good friends, two teammates from the Mumbai Indians walked out to toss representing their national colours, of course. Rohit Sharma, well, he starts off with a victory in ODI number 1000. And India, DK, won the toss. And predictably, they've asked the West Indies to make first use with bat in hand.
Yes, I think we have to understand, I think over a period of time, India has been a team which is very comfortable chasing totals down. And in the subcontinent, they have a very, very good record as well. So yet another opportunity here. The fact that they won the toss obviously is even better because Ahmedabad might have a little bit of due, which we will be speaking as this matches unfold. So I think for a start in the 1000th match, which I think is a massive milestone for any country, and the fact that India is playing, it shows for a start how much one-day cricket we've played over a time. And, to start off on a good note, to have won the toss and deciding to bowl. And I'm sure there'll be some interesting changes in the bowling as well. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Well, as I said, it's issues coming in from everywhere. And of course, the other big news that has come through the night, I'm sure everyone was awake seeing that. I think this is the time at the top of the show to say a huge, huge congratulations to the youngsters, the under-19 boys who have won the under-19 World Cup 5 out of 9. That was absolutely massive. England and Australia were both good sides, beat Australia in the semi-final, didn't let England get to 200 despite that huge partnership towards the end. And then I know 4 wickets doesn't look like a comfortable victory, but India were always in the hunt to pick up that title. DK, let me come back to you. A quick word on these boys. While we're talking about India, West Indies, they're looking at the IPL auction. Well, those young boys, of course, had their eyes on the trophy, but a few of them will be picked up.
Oh, 100%. Just want to speak a little bit about under-19. I think they had a fabulous Asia Cup. The first match that they played, they lost. And after that, I think they've gone unbeaten until this World Cup final as well, which they have gone on to win. And they've played a very good brand of cricket. We got to understand, just like the Indian team, COVID had struck the team as well, where the captain and the vice-captain couldn't play a large number of the games in the league stage, but still managed to win pretty comfortably through and through. And some very, very interesting performances. Obviously, right at the start, Ankush Raghuvanshi, the opener, looked really good. Then everybody's speaking about Sheikh Rashid. He looks like somebody who's made a cut for the big league. And Yash Dul has a great head on his shoulders, and he's performed when it really mattered. And Hunger Gaker, he's looked really good. He's a strong lad who can hit a long ball. Raj Bawa has done well. So some really good, really good names out there. Dinesh Bana, the wicketkeeper, obviously showing his credentials with the bat as well, kept pretty solid through the tournament. Just want to ask, Polly, were you part of the Under-19 World Cup at any point of time?
Our team was there, yes. Yes, they were. They were part of the World Cup at some stage, but didn't go as well as they would have wanted to. But yeah, I mean, you guys have done brilliantly, haven't you, in those under-19s? It's a great stepping stone, not only for RPL, but just for future careers. You guys have won 5 of them. Is a real feather in the cap. So yeah, full respect for the under-19s and what they've done. Our South Africans, we've got work to do. We've won it once, but we've got some work to do in the younger department.
But we just made easy work of you all in the first game that we played. Pretty easy actually. You guys need to work on the youngster side of things. But Polly, did you ever play an under-19 World Cup?
No, it was after my time. We would have definitely won if I'd played. It would have been just a matter of fact. But it was we played SA Schools. We used to have, we get picked as SA Schools team. Nicky Boyer, Herschel Gibbs, Adam Bacher, Nick Pothas, all those guys were in that team. So it would have been a decent under-19 side, but we never got to play.
But Shaun, there is a bright spark. I mean, yes, South Africa didn't quite make it as far as you would have liked, but the man everyone's talking about, India may have taken the trophy, but the player of the series, Deval Brevis, everyone's talking about him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a real fan. I hate it when they give people labels. I mean, they call him Baby AB, which is very dangerous. Stay away from that. Just let the guy grow into his own career and try and stay to claim. But yeah, there's also talk that he's going to get an RPL contract. And it's the moral of the story is you put runs on the board, you get people to notice you. It's as simple as that. People often say, well, how can I get to this team or get to that team or get promotion? Or just get runs on the board. If you've got that ability and you keep doing it, people will take notice and you'll keep knocking down doors.
Polly, I'll just add to that. I know Brevis did really well, but there is this one boy that I saw, and it wasn't batting or bowling that I'm talking about. His name is Similane. My God, what a fielder he is, Polly. I don't think I've seen a fielder like that in a long, long time. He's in the ranks of AB de Villiers, Ravindra Jadeja. He was really good. Similane is his name. Some of the stops that he did, he stood at mid-wicket covers, caught a brilliant catch at slip. Solid. He's an all-rounder as well. I think he has work to do, obviously, in trying to get into the batting and bowling side of things. But for fielding, I think he was the best fielder of the tournament.
Yeah. Just don't call him Junior Jonty. Baby AB, Junior Jonty, it's inevitable.
No, stay away from that. But he's got some energy. Yeah, he looks like he's got potential, and give him a year or two just to find his feet in the other departments, and then he'll be something to be reckoned with.
Yeah, but with young Bana, it's, I think, also inevitable, DK, when your first name is Dinesh and you're a wicketkeeper, you just have to finish innings in style like that, don't you?
Oh, he's really good. I think the last couple of games, he's come good. I saw that he wasn't the first choice wicketkeeper at the start, but in one of the challenger games that they played, apparently he said, this game, the selectors are going to come. And then he said, look at the number of sixes and I'm going to hit. And he went on to score 14 sixes that game, which is pretty phenomenal. And I think you could see he has that ability to hit sixes. So he's got a lot of skill in him.
Well, it's just, I know we sort of sidetracked a little bit, but it's a great achievement to celebrate for Team India and so much to look forward to. The next generation is definitely in good hands. But let's come to the current generation. Let's come to the boys in Ahmedabad and talk about one name in particular, Deepak Hooda. We've seen him getting confirmation that he will be in that lineup. He can, in fact, give you the playing 11. The two things we knew at the start, apart from Rohit Sharma being captain, was that Ishan Kishan would open alongside him because Rahul's not playing this game. And DK, DH is going to be getting finally that slot in there. So much talked about. He went through, a period in Baroda he'd want to forget, but good for Deepak Hooda.
Absolutely. I think he's had a very good Syed Mushtaq Ali, the T20 tournament that happens domestically, and he's done really well there, played well for Rajasthan. And I think he got a very good 100 as well in the Vijay Hazare quarterfinal. Even though they lost the match, I think he batted really well. And I think that sprung him into the limelight. And the fact that he can bowl a bit of off spin also helps his case a lot. And I'm sure he'll be really looking forward to this opportunity.
Yeah, Shaun, sometimes you might look at numbers and even question a person's selection or whether he's broken the door down. But as DK said, and he's seen these as often as an opposition player. I mean, we love DK, we love hearing him talk, but let's not forget he's very much an active player in the domestic circuit, and he's seeing these guys from across 22 yards, and it makes a difference. You can see a guy's impact there, Shaun.
Yeah, you can. I mean, those stats aren't anything to write home about. If he's looking to put out a possibility of being selection, he's not supplying those and saying, "Listen here, pick me. Look at this." But I think selection is not only about facts and figures, particularly in the shorter format. Often in Test cricket, it's how many wickets you've got at what average or how many runs you managed to get on, because it's first-class cricket and you have to bat for a period of time. But in one-day cricket, it can just be what impact do you have. When you're batting at the position of number 6, you don't always get a chance. You have to sometimes get in and get just 20 runs to get your team over the line. And I think it's important contributions that you make that also make people take notice. And it must be the case with him. And as DK says, having moved provinces and gone to play somewhere else, he's shown that he can take on the new responsibility. And that's probably what's got into the minds of the selectors.
Let's also go back to that playing 11, because we had all hopes of seeing Kulcha reunited, because Kuldeep Yadav is back in the squad, but he's not in the 11. India have opted to keep Yuzvendra Chahal in and go with Washington Sundar as the second spinner. DK, your thoughts on that? Because we were looking forward to the Kulcha arrival.
Yeah, I think, rightly so Sundar is playing, because he's had a fabulous Vijay Hazare trophy as well. He was on the squad to South Africa before COVID obviously caused some tantrums, and then he had to drop out of that series. And this seems to happen pretty regularly to a lot of the players, and they're very aware of it. And now he's got his opportunity back, and he bowled really well for Tamil Nadu in the Vijay Hazare, batted with a lot of responsibility as well. And if you do look at the side, you do get a feeling that this is a team that bats pretty deep. They got proper batting up till number 8, which is very good. And the fact that Huda can bowl a bit of off spin, which is very good considering the West Indies have a couple of left-handers in the middle. So, I think they've picked a pretty solid side. Yes, we would have loved to see a Kuldeep. He's coming back after a long time, but I'm sure he'll get his opportunities.
Yeah, that's as far as the Indian team is concerned. But again, we talked about COVID briefly, Shaun, at the start. It's an opportunity. I mean, I know you've got to feel for some of the players who, because of that positive test, have to just sit and isolate. But I guess for someone right at the top, Ishan Kishan, looking again with a little eye on the IPL auction. There may be one particular franchise who kind of want him back, but not sure they'll necessarily get him, Shaun.
Yeah, well, he's been opening with the captain of that franchise. So if he plays nasty, you can always just have a word in the middle even with him about what they need to do to hold on to his services. It's an opportunity, particularly the West Indies. I think those guys will be dead keen to try and stay to claim. But that's where he's had his brush start, Ishan. I mean, he's an exciting player. I think he's ideally suited to the top of the order in this one-day format with the power play, the first 10 overs, he can just get going. And then hopefully he can readjust his game. I think if there's anything that we need to still see from him, it's once he gets through those initial part, and then has he got the ability just to knock it around, go to 80, 90 strike rate without taking too many risks and really build the big innings. But there's no doubt he's a pocket rocket. He's got that power at the top of the order, left-hander, right-hander combination. Sheikha misses out because of COVID, and it's an opportunity. I think players in the squads these days, you could go on 4 or 5 tours and never get a game because no one ever got sick or injured. These days, every time there's a test, you've got a chance of maybe being reintroduced. So, yeah, it's an exciting time for him, exciting time for some of those other players. I think your selection of the team is better than what we saw in South Africa. I was a bit surprised at the role of Venkatesh Iyer. I feel for Shreyas Iyer because I thought he was starting to find his feet. Kuldeep Yadav, I'd love to see him back at some stage. I think he's got that ability and he could play a massive part in the World Cup in a long period's time. But I think Sundar gets the crack because there's left-handers in that West Indian lineup, isn't there?
Well, before we have a look at the West Indian lineup, a quick word, DK, because Shaun mentioned Venkatesh Iyer and you know all about the best way to have played Venkatesh Iyer. I'm referring back to Ishan Kishan right now. How do you see Ishan Kishan, the ODI player, versus in a T20 game where he's got the license to go from ball 1 and doesn't have to do it for a prolonged period of time?
Look, I do think Ishan Kishan will bat in a pretty similar manner because in the limited matches that he's played for his state in the Vijay Hazare Trophy, he's batted at a very very positive strike rate. He's looked to take on the bowlers, put pressure from ball one, and that's his style of play as well, and that suits him. That gets the best out of him as a batter, and I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing the same of that when he plays this match as well.
Well, let's get to the West Indians, the flamboyant West Indians, all of them very Ishan Kishan-like when they walk out to the crease. And again, here there'll be a few players who will be keeping an eye out for the IPL auctions. Two of the names who we were going to talk about, Odin Smith, Romario Shepherd, are not in the 11 here. They'd seen more as T20 players. So unfortunately, they'll have to be making their pitch from the bench. But Shaun, just having a look at this lineup, Brandon King opening up with someone like Shea Hope, who's got the experience, particularly in ODI cricket. So batting first, they'll know that they need to put some serious runs on the board in these conditions.
Yeah, I mean, I've got potential there. We've seen some quality performances from a lot of these guys in the different formats. I think it's consistency, isn't it? That's where the West Indies is really being found wanting. Even in the Test arena, you have a look at some of their stats and their facts and figures. Yeah, they have their days, but it's not like the top six continue to produce, and that's what they need in their one-day format as well. Someone like a Jason Holder, he's now had a fantastic T20 series against England. And can he bring the control to the bowling lineup? Because they've often been a side that's guilty of being a bit wayward in the first 10 overs. And then, other teams already dictating terms. Kemar Roach, I enjoy how he goes. Joseph, I think he'll be okay. And then you've got the spinners to try and mix it up. But for me, I'm looking for someone to really start to say, listen, I'm the guy or the two guys that you can build this one-day international batting lineup for the West Indies, and you can make it around me. As I say, as you talk about Shea Hope, I mean, he's been good, but I still want to see more consistency from them.
Yeah, Kemar Roach, of course, we most recently heard him as a commentator. So, DK, you know how that feels. You get into the commentary box and people tend to forget that you're still actively playing, as Kemar is.
Absolutely, I think it's a hard one for anybody because you do it because you got some time and you enjoy it, but obviously the way you're perceived after that is a little different, and it's sometimes pretty disappointing. But that's how the nature of the beast is. So it's fine, and I think it's good to see him back because he's done well for West Indies in the Test cricket arena for some time now, and the fact that he has a pretty solid ODI record. And the fact that he's been brought back, and I'm sure he'll be looking to do the best that he can. And he's a very good bowler. Over a period of time, he's shown his skill sets in the longer format, and I'm sure he can do very well in this format as well.
Yeah. Interestingly, if you look around West Indies cricket, there are a couple of guys, Kemar Roach, Fidel Edwards, who just never seem to age in what looks to be more increasingly a very young man's game, particularly for the quicker bowlers. These guys seem to keep coming back. But we did mention that IPL auction. And even though it's an ODI series, and the ODI series will conclude on the eve of the IPL auction, so no one will get to play T20s ahead of it, but yet there'll be an opportunity for some of the players, Shaun, particularly in the West Indies lineup. As you said at the start of the show, they love to be part of the auction. They've got lots and lots of names there. Now, two names who are not on the pitch today, Romario Shepherd, Odin Smith, both huge talents. For the moment, we'll keep an eye on the three gentlemen on the left. All three are playing today. Nicholas Pooran, Fabian Allen, exciting talent, all-round talent, and of course the solidity and the leadership skills of Jason Holder, Shaun.
Yeah, I mean, the IPL history, history is littered with guys who've made a state or on innings just before their IPL auction and have earned some really good money because of it. And I mean, even someone like a Holder, I mean, what he gets man of the series against England in that 5-match series, the control he bowled with, what he did there. I mean, you must really think that he's going to be, top of a lot of people's lists about trying. And I think his stakes would have gone up. A good couple of one-day internationals here, and all of a sudden they're even looking at him in extra good light. So it is that opportunity, and the fact that it's happening in India before everyone's going to be focused on the auction is the ideal stage that you'd want.
Yeah, if you have a look at all the players there, DK, that we showed, they all are players who bring an extra dimension to the table. Even a Pooran, who's not a bowler, but once you look at his possibility behind the stumps and a gun fielder when he doesn't have the gloves. So you've got all these guys, all five, bring both sets to the table.
Absolutely. we all know how good Jason Holder is. Nicholas Pooran, again, a proper all-rounder, can keep, can field, and also bat well. So I think, Odian Smith is somebody I obviously interacted with a lot during the KKR time, because he had come from CPL and we spent some time with him, and he's somebody for a start who can bowl rocket and can hit a long ball. Romario Shepherd, I think he's had a few good CPLs for now, and we all know his skill set, and that's a very hard skill set to have, fast bowling all-rounders. So obviously there'll be
very hard.
well sought after. There have been some old war horses over the time who've done a very good job, and we have 1 year right with us, and he can tell you how hard it is to bat and bowl in a T20. And then we have Fabian Allen, who is somebody who's done again really well for West Indies and in CPL, but hasn't set the ground alight so much in IPL, and I'm sure he, when given an opportunity, he'll look to do that.
Yep. But of course, it's not just the West Indians. We'll be seeing plenty of action from the Indian youngsters, the Indian not so youngsters, and we'll talk about that as time goes on. But one player to look forward to in the context of ODIs. We told you at the start, this series has so many different contexts. It's not just looking ahead to the auctions. It's not just number 1,000, not just Rohit's captaincy. But Mohammad Siraj, I think, would be an interesting point to talk about. And I'll come to the fast bowler first, Shaun Pollock, making a comeback since after 2019, getting back in. But this is his record in the last 2 seasons of the IPL. And of course, he's been rewarded for that as far as his franchise is concerned.
Yeah, I think he's also shown the ability, hasn't he, at the test level? Often it's whether you've got the skill set is one thing, and then you have a look, well, can you actually produce that skill set at the top level under pressure in big matches? And he's shown he can do that in the test arena. And I think he's earned a lot of respect from everyone in that Indian squad. So it's no surprise that when certain guys are rested, that the opportunity presents itself. You say, okay, well, let's have a look and see what he can do in the one-day format again. So I'm sure he'll be very excited about this. And he does seem like a guy you can just turn to and you know what you're going to get. You can depend on him.
Yeah, not too many people we can talk about playing across all 3 formats and performing, DK. Of course, Jasprit Bumrah leads the way when it comes to that. But Mohammad Siraj is fast getting there. And I just think it's the ability to be able to toss the ball to him and know that you're in good hands. A bit like Shardul Thakur, a bit like Jasprit Bumrah.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. And I think... he's shown how good he is, especially in the last IPL, because he was pretty regularly getting wickets up front and bowling well at the death as well. And I think those are 2 skill sets that's very important for Indian cricket, especially getting wickets up front. And he has the ability to produce wicket-taking deliveries. And I have a strong feeling he'll go very well this series.
Well, the man who'll be picking when he bowls and when he doesn't bowl will be full-time captain Rohit Sharma. There's been such a build-up to this series, whether in South Africa, whether even before that, 3 formats, how many captains, who will be captain? Rahul was there, Virat stepped down, and finally now seems the dust has settled, Shaun Pollock, and we've got Rohit Sharma as full-time captain. I want both of you to tell me your expectations for the full-time Rohit Sharma leader.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how he gets on. I was a bit disappointed with some of the energy in the Indian side after KL Rahul took over. I know Virat is often the one who used to bring all that energy to the party, and he was probably feeling like, well, I need to take a bit of a back seat here. I don't want to be out in front. I don't want to be trying leading through an example. But I think Rohit's got that stature, hasn't he, in the Indian setup, that there's a massive amount of respect, and also that you've seen what he's been able to do in the RPLs. So his captaincy record is no issues whatsoever. And he's going to be, I'm interested to see if it's a slightly different tactics or, a slightly different approach as a captain. But I think it'd be good. I think he's got enough experience. Sometimes you're thrown into captaincy a bit early. You can come in and you maybe not quite established. But, he's had plenty of years of RPL. He's played in this team now. In many ways, his mind is in a very settled place. And I think those are the opportunities to be the best captains.
You know him well, TK. Shaun mentioned 2 captains. Virat Kohli, one kind of personality. KL Rahul, another kind of personality. Rohit Sharma, what is it that makes him the captain? What is it makes him the leader that he is?
Two things. I think his interpersonal relationship with all his teammates. I think he's somebody who bonds really well with the guys. A very easy person to get along with, and that is going to get the best out of the Indian team. And the fact that he's tactically very astute, he does his homework, he's very strong with it, and goes with his gut instinct a lot. And that is definitely going to help Team India. I believe that he's at a terrific mind space at this point of time. His batting is probably one of the best going around in the world. So I think you will see a tremendous Team India under him.
Yes, that's what we're expecting. A few questions will, of course, be asked of Rohit Sharma, but we know he's all set to answer them. But before the players in Ahmedabad start asking or answering questions, we've got a question of ours to answer. In fact, we've got a few more than one. But let's start with the one, which is our Joy Factor question, which is the one you've come to expect. Hashtag Cricbuzz Live. Get your answers back as quickly as you can. And he always has an interesting one for us. Mushtaq Ahmed, Ram Naresh Sarwan, Zahid Saeed, Xavier Doherty, and Inamul Haq are part of this non-exhaustive list. What achievement are we referring to? Now, that's a very, very diverse set of names we're talking about from different parts of the world. Good luck trying to find a connection between them in this non-exhaustive list. Shaun Pollock is just raring to jump on this one, aren't you?
No. I'm clueless.com.
Well, we'll leave it at that for now. We'll let all of you try and figure this out. But of course, this is ODI number 1000. So we thought that to commemorate such a huge landmark, we'll finish off this very special edition of Cricbuzz Live as we build up to the first of 3 ODIs between India and the West Indies with this rapid-fire quiz with a little reference to the 1000th ODI. So let's quickly have a look at what our rapid-fire questions are, and let's go for it. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So Rohit Sharma leads India in the 1000th ODI in 2022. Who was the captain in India's 600th ODI? Who was the captain in India's 600th ODI? DK, you can go for this one as well.
600, so 400 ODIs before, so that's about 12 years. So 12 years back, who could have been the captain? So it's about 2009. Interesting. 2000. Is it MS Dhoni?
We're not going to give the answers away. We're going to get everybody else to have a chance to get it as well. We've got Ganguly, we've got Dhoni. Let's quickly get the others in. Which Indian batter has the most 50-plus scores against South Africa?
Against South Africa. Sachin Tendulkar?
Shaun, are you going to say nobody?
No, I'm actually probably going to go Kohli.
All right, fair enough. Dinesh Karthik's highest ODI score came against South Africa. Can you tell us the venue?
Well, I would know this one. It's better that Polly tries.
Come on.
Yeah. Gosh, DK, come on, narrow it down for me. Was it India or South Africa?
India. I can tell you this as well. You're not going to get this, Polly. Don't even try.
Okay, DK, it's okay. I mean, people have had a chance to give it. Go on, give it to us.
Gwalior.
And of course, what was the extra significance of that game?
Sachin got his first double under. Like world cricket's first double under in ODI was that game.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so I wasn't there. That was after 2008.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's clarify. World men's cricket first 200 came in there. Belinda Clark had done that years ago at the Brabant Stadium against Denmark in the Women's World Cup.
That's right.
We love to keep adding that. Number 4. How many times has Shaun Pollock dismissed Sachin Tendulkar in ODI cricket?
14. It's a guess. It's a random guess.
Shaun, you should have every one of those dismissals put up on the wall. Yeah, you should.
No, I don't think it's going to be as many as that. We would have probably only played each other about 30 odd times. I don't think it would have been 50% of the time, but there was a few.
All right. Okay. Well, it's not very little. It's a lot. Which ground has hosted the most number of ODI matches featuring India? 1,000 ODIs they've played.
Sharjah.
Yeah, I probably would go for that as well. DK, you'd concur?
I think so.
Yeah, just because of all the neutral games played there. And finally, before we can get to the game, against which team has India won the most number of ODIs?
Sri Lanka.
Yeah, well, they play them every week, so I guess that would be a fairly logical guess. uh, I haven't even looked at my answer sheet, and I'm also concurring with Dinesh Karthik on this one. So, well, for all of you who have been part of this rapid fire, do you have a different answer, by the way, Shaun? Do you want to say
No,
South
I'm
Africa?
going with
No?
Sri Lanka. You guys can.
Okay.
You've lured me in.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Other than Gwalior, of course, which we gave away, if you want to still give us your answers, you can do that. Maybe we'll try and get a little prediction in from both Shaun and DK. 50 over cricket. West Indies put into bat first. How many can they pile on? Shaun, you want to go first?
I'm going to go 285.
285. That should make for an interesting run chase. DK shaking his head already.
I think 254.
254. Well. I was going to slip in somewhere in between, but I'll just be adventurous and go even lower. Maybe the reckless West Indies will come out for the first ODI. 239. 239 is what I'm going for. But it should be an interesting run chase, come what may. First of 6 games, 3 ODIs, 3 T20Is. ODI number 1000 is what we are celebrating. We will, of course, be back in the 15th over for Cricbuzz Combox, and of course later on in the innings as well. But for now, we'll see you in the 15th over. On behalf of Shaun Pollock, Dinesh Karthik, and myself, Gautam Bhimani, that's Cricbuzz Live for now.